So prepositions like to, for, in, at, by are not always easy. They're small words. Sometimes they're not even used in your language. Sometimes they're a part of another word. Depends which language you speak. Today in this course I'm going to tell you exactly where to use them and exactly how to use them, and you probably won't make any mistakes anymore, I hope. So prepositions provide critical information about location, time, direction and more. So they're useful for when you want to fine-tune where you're telling somebody you're going to be, where something is, or what's going on, okay? So just remember these things, and you'll see as we go through these slides what I mean by this, and we can link them to them. So for example, the book is on the table. Here we are, this sound again for book. The table, the book. The book is on the table, all right? Now, this preposition shows the relationship between the book and the table, as I showed you. However, there is another use for on, and this happens when we have this phrasal verb. So if the phrasal verb has two parts, the verb part and the particle part, okay? Now we call it a particle because it's part of this phrasal verb structure. So, keep on walking, to keep on doing something. Here, the on is actually slightly different. It's talking about continuing, okay? Continuing to do so, to keep on, it's part of that. So here, the on combined with the keep is talking about to continue something, all right? Now, you will know that many phrasal verbs use on, so you just have to look at them and look at what they mean. But it's kind of making sure that you know the difference between the preposition use and this particle use. Okay, so let's look at our first preposition here, to. Now, to can be used to indicate direction, okay? I'm going to somewhere. Direction or destination. So it can also be used to show the recipient of something, all right? So for example, I give it to him, or I give it to you. Now let's look at these examples. So direction, destination, she is going to the office. So we can see it. So here she is, and here is the office, okay? She is going to the office, directional. Recipient-wise, I gave the book to my friend. So you can see, you can feel the interaction. I gave the book to my friend. It's going away from you direction-wise, but this is slightly different in the way that I'm kind of giving to someone. So it's somebody is receiving from me. He gave it to him. He received it from him, all right? Okay, so number 2 is for. Now for can indicate purpose, duration, or in favor of something. So I'm for something. I'm for this or I'm for that. Maybe a preference. But let's look at purpose and duration for a moment, for the beginning. So purpose, this tool is for cutting. So what is the tool for? It's for cutting, okay? And do you see when I made my question, I said, what is it for? So again, I'm asking the purpose in the question. So what is it for? Okay? Question mark. What is it for? It's for cutting. Duration. Okay, so I've been doing something for a certain amount. He has lived there for 2 years. So here, for is the duration. Okay, for 2 years. Right, this is something that you probably, many of you have used this in your more basic English when you start to speak. I have lived there for this long. And now you can kind of see why you use it. A lot of the time when we start a language, we talk about using these different phrases, but we're not always sure how they're constructed. We just know what they are because they're the basic phrases to use at the beginning. But now you can see how they're constructed and why. So, in favor of. So, are you for or against the decision? So, for, to be in favor. I'm for it or I'm against it. So, it's the two sides of the same idea. So remember, you can download these slides as we go and when you finish the video, and you can take the quiz for free. Just to make sure that you've got the idea of what we've been talking about, you can use those slides again to go over the video again if you want to. So let's look at preposition in. Now, in again is a very useful preposition to use, and it's used to express something is contained or enclosed, or to indicate the location within a larger area. All right, so for example, we're talking about containment. She put the cookies in the jar, okay? She put the cookies in the jar, all right? just let's have a look at this pronunciation. This, of course, is not y, as some people might think it might be, but it's j, jar, okay? And we have this long R sound as well. Okay, so you put the cookies in the jar. Location, he lives in New York, all right? So if you want to picture this, and you say, well, actually, if you have this city in your head, and you can see it in front of you, you can say he lives in the city. And it's actually, again, it's almost a little bit like containment, because he's in the city, in the middle, or in the other area, or in the suburbs, or whatever. It's still kind of that in feeling. You can get the feeling for it. Lives. Okay, remember when it's plural, we don't say lives, we say lives. Okay, let's go to the next one. All right, number 4, preposition on. Now, we looked at this a little bit in the intro. On is talking about something that is on the surface or a position above something or in contact with it. So we can not just say on the table, we can also say on the wall, okay? We can also say on the ceiling. It doesn't necessarily talk about gravity, okay? So it can be on anything. So for example, the book is on the table. Like this is surface, okay? On the table, the book is on the table. Specific days and dates, okay? For example, we will meet on Friday. I will see you on Friday, I will be there on Thursday, and this is when we decide to tell people we are going to be there at some certain time. On Friday, on Saturday, on Monday. It also works when you're talking about mornings and afternoons. On Monday morning. If the day's there, it's on. We'll come to the reason why that's important in a minute. Okay, number 5, we're looking at. Okay, at the preposition is to point out specific times and places within a high degree of precision. Now, the important thing to remember here is that when I say I'll meet you at a place, it's usually that the person you're talking to or the person you're talking to about somewhere there's a distance between. Okay, so meet me at the entrance. You might say that if you're on the phone to someone, meet me at the entrance, okay? Or meet me at the cafe. Specific time. The show starts at 6 p.m, okay? So again, it's signifying a place or a time that's actually distant from where you are. That's important to kind of get in your mind. It's not always a hard rule, but it's good to have that in your mind a little bit. There is a little trick you can use to work out the difference between in, on, and at. And it's a very nice, simple little graphic. So if you do a box here with a hole in the top, an arrow like this, an arrow like this, and an arrow like this. This is at, this is in, and this is on. Now, on, you can see it's this on the surface. In, you can see it's contained. And at, you can see there's a distance there as well. Now, I'm not saying it's perfect, but it definitely helps you when you're in a bit of a fix and you don't know which word to use. So number 6, preposition by. So it indicates either means, proximity, or authorship. So what does this mean exactly? Let's have a look at the examples. So method, for example, how something is done, okay? So we traveled by train. So method is by train, okay? Proximity, how close something is. So the bakery is by the park, okay? Proximity is by the park, okay? Now just make sure we see this little bit of pronunciation because we'd like to tell you about this. So bakery, bakery. And this is where the stress is at the beginning of the word. And we have this sound here. My favourite sound is sound. Bakery, bakery. Okay, park with a nice long sound as well. These dots, remember, make it long. Park sound. Okay, and authorship. So authorship, we know what an author is. An author is somebody who makes a book or a song or something. So this song was written by Lennon and McCartney. So by these people here, okay? Authorship. So it's quite simple, this one. And it's one that you can get your head around quickly. Remember, we've got all these things on the eye and underneath. You can go to those links and you can use this quiz and you can look at the slides. You can go back over the video and you can make sure that you get this really sorted in your head. Okay, so let's test your knowledge a little bit about using these prepositions. And I think what we're going to do now is I'm going to read it to you. I'm going to leave a gap You're going to have a think. I'll leave a few seconds and then I'll tell you what the answer is. And sometimes I'll tell you what other answers there could be and what that means for the meaning of the sentence, because it does change things. So let's just have a look at the first one. So I will meet you the coffee shop. I will meet you the coffee shop. What do you think? Okay, so I hear you shouting at the coffee shop. Well, yes, that is correct. If you want to be specific on where you're going to meet and the person is away from you at the time, or the person is with you but you're talking about the coffee shop away from you. However, if you were to say in, then that's perfectly okay, because maybe the person knows where you are but doesn't know exactly where you are. And you say, oh, I'm in the coffee shop. I'll meet you in the coffee shop, not outside. Okay, so this is when you're going to be a bit more specific. Okay, that's not only the only one you could put here. You could also put, I'll meet you by the coffee shop, which means I'll be close to it, but I won't be in it. Do you see what I mean? So you can do different things. However, generally, you probably want to say at here. So the first one was correct. But it's really useful, it's really useful for you to play around with the words and see what that does to the meaning of the sentence. And this is something you can do with time, and you've got no rush on this, so you can just kind of have a look and see how it feels. So let's look at the next one. So the painting was done a famous artist. The painting was done a famous artist. Remember those previous slides? Yes, it's by a famous artist. And let's just write in this at there, just so we've got something there that you can use as an anchor. Okay, famous, let's just have a look at this word, so famous. This A also is here in painting, painting. You can see how these double vowels, they've got this A sound. So there's two vowels and you can see them moving. Okay, she has been studying English 3 years. She has been studying English 3 years. Now we're talking about duration, aren't we? So remember that slide? Yep, it's 4. 3 years, okay? She's been studying English for 3 years. And actually, if we say it quickly, this becomes for 3 years, if you want to work on that fast speech. All right, let's have a look at the next one. They are traveling to Japan, plane. They are traveling to Japan, plane. Remember what we were saying about the method? Yeah, so it's by plane. How do you do it? I do it by plane. We go by car, we go by train, okay? Japan. Let's just have a look at this word, J. And then, of course, this A is very strong A sound, Japan. Japan. And we've got the stress on the second part of that word. Next one, the meeting is scheduled Monday morning. The meeting is scheduled Monday morning. What do you think? Remember what we were talking about, days. When the day's involved, it is on Monday morning. Because if we were going to say just on Monday, you use on. If you were going to say use the morning thing on Monday morning, then you still use on because the day name is still there. But if we didn't have Monday, okay, then what would we do? It's scheduled, we'd have to write in the morning. You see? So it's slightly different, but let's just stick with where we are. Okay, you can see, you can go back on this video and you can actually play with these words and find these different meanings. It's quite useful. All right, next one. He is very good playing the guitar. He's very good playing the guitar. Yep, at. Nice simple one. And in this sense, actually, there's not anything else you can put there. So he's very good at playing the guitar. Okay, remember also this good, very good. The keys are the table, the hallway. Now, there's two there, two different ones. Which one would you put? Yes, the keys are on the table, in the hallway. You see? Now, the good thing about this is that we have the keys, you can picture them, on the table, in the hallway, okay? And when we're talking about this, when something has been said that it's on something, it must be followed by in something. It's on, in the hallway, okay? So that's how it works. Okay, we walked the store to buy some milk. We walked the store to buy some milk. So remember what we said, direction, okay? What was the direction one? It was to. So we walked to the store to buy some milk. All right, excellent. Okay, the book was written, Mark Twain. Remember authorship? The book was written, Mark Twain, by. Because he is the person that wrote the book, written by him, okay? Okay, the last one. She is work right now. She is work right now. And remember, there's a little bit of distance between us and she. We might be talking to somebody else, so we're talking about maybe a little bit of distance here. So, yeah, she is at work. She is at work right now. We're not talking, we can't say in work because it's a slightly different meaning. We couldn't say by work because it's not really what we want to say. We can say she is at work right now. So remember, you can take the test to find out your English level, and that'll be here. So take that test and find out what your level is. And you will notice that the more you listen to our videos and the more you practice that test, every time you take it, you will get slightly better and better and better. Remember also, you can download the slides, you can do the quiz. Please do that and enjoy. And it's been great today to talk to you. See you later.